So I finally decided that it was time to go and get fitted for new pointe shoes.
Yeah, this feels way more supported.
There you go.
Wow.
Cool. And then switch.
I remember she really hated these. Yeah, I mean, they're a little soft, but ooh, it's so hard to roll through these shoes. Hi everyone. The last time we talked, I was expressing that I was trying to extend the length of my first toe because my second toe was longer, which was causing me some problems when I was wearing pointe shoes. So one idea that I had that I thought was good during the time was maybe I can make my own little putty toe extender thing. And of course, if you've seen the last vlog, you know that it wasn't such a great idea. That was so painful. The next thing I tried was I bought these little silicone gel pads. They have a sticky end, so you can put them and stick them to the inside of your pointe shoes or your toe pads. And though these were really fun and colorful, they were not sticky at all. They essentially had the adhesive power of a sticky note. I honestly think a sticky note probably is more sticky than those things. And I can never get the pads to really be where I want them exactly, which is at the end of my big toe. So I quickly gave up on that idea. The next thing that I tried was using my toe caps. So what I did was I got some lambswool, stuffed it inside my toe cap, and then put my toe cap on my toes. So the lambswool was what was really extending my big toe. When I tried this at home, it wasn't too bad, and it did help me to alleviate the pressure that I had on my second toe. But when I was in class, I realized that eventually my big toe started taking on all the pressure. I actually stopped feeling my second and all my other toes working. It was uncomfortable and just really not danceable. So I finally decided that it was time to go and get fitted for new pointe shoes. So the fitter started with measuring my foot and seeing what type of padding I was using in my current shoe. I expressed to her that I was experiencing a lot of pain in the shoe that I was currently wearing and that I was taking on too much weight in the big toe.
And that does help. That'll help you pick like
The right
different
shoes.
Yeah, I want to. But then this is a way you could make the shoe work.
Mm-hmm.
You just need to compress your foot more.
Okay.
But in the depth, not the width.
Yeah, this feels way more supported, but just the twisting is what's really getting to me.
Yeah, but that's because we stuffed like so much
Yeah,
stuff in there.
yeah.
To keep your toes
There's a lot
from
in there.
going down. Okay, cool.
So the fitter took her time and took a lot of notes on my feet. She gave me a ton of new styles in different lengths and widths to try out. And it was just so nice seeing how meticulous she was and how knowledgeable she was about everything. Fitters I've had in the past have always asked me, how does it feel? And when I was young and new to pointe, I never knew how to answer that question. Well, it just feels like shoes to me. I don't know how it's supposed to feel. Through a lot of trial and error, I started developing my own preference of how a shoe should feel on my foot. And that's when I was more opinionated, but definitely at the beginning, you want a fitter who asks you really specific questions and has really specific comments about shoes.
Measure wide at your knuckles, but then your toes are tapered and super shallow.
Yeah.
That's why I wanted you to try this block. The block you had before is really square.
Okay.
It's a great beginner shoe. It's probably why you started in it. Because
Yeah.
most people need more space to balance.
Yeah.
But now that you don't need extra shoe to balance, you can get a shoe that looks more like your foot.
Okay.
So all the shoes we're going to try on today are going to be a lot more like V-shaped
Okay.
and shallower.
Okay.
So like, does that feel like tighter here and tighter here?
It's tighter everywhere, yeah.
Okay, step up on point and let me know if that makes your big toes feel better.
I don't think my toes are even touching the bottom at this point because it's so, on this foot especially, it's so tight that I can't feel any of my toes touching.
So the pointe shoe shop was a really cool experience. It was nice being able to look at the shoe brands that I recognized from 4 years ago and seeing that they have new models and new styles and new fabrics. She actually convinced me to try on Gaynor Mindens. So for folks that don't know about Gaynors, they are a brand of pointe shoes. Gaynors are made differently than traditional pointe shoes. Back then, what I really liked about Gaynor Mindens is that they were supposed to be really durable pointe shoes.
Well, so they have like different box numbers, like 2, 3, 3+, 4, and 5. And
yeah, 5 wasn't a thing back then.
Oh gosh, no, that's too square. So we're gonna try 4s and 3 pluses and see how you feel.
Okay.
And then they do also have like a new factory, and the satin is different.
Oh.
So it is gonna feel even stiffer.
Okay.
Like that stiff, non-traditional satin.
These feel, yeah, they feel like plastic on my foot.
Yes.
So different.
Gaynor.
Yeah.
All plastic box and shank. Traditional shoe. Right, so we always are in the mindset of like, I'm gonna smash this and like break it in.
Yeah.
Gaynors should feel like not perfect, but nearly perfect
almost
in
there.
the store. Yeah.
So what's kind of weird about a Gaynor Minden shoe is that you don't really break them in. They already are broken in. So with a traditional pointe shoe, you get them, you do a lot of manipulation. This is where like you see dancers like whacking their shoe against the wall or the ground. You see them stepping on it, you see them putting water in it, just doing a bunch of customization to their shoe. With Gaynor Mindens, you don't really do that. The shoe is not really going to change its shape. That's why it lasts so long. So when you get it, it is what it is. If it doesn't fit you on your foot in the store, it is not going to fit you later, essentially. But with a normal pointe shoe, if it doesn't fit you perfectly at the store, you can always go home and just make adjustments as needed.
Thinking and it's not holding your toes up enough, then we'll try the 3 plus.
Okay. I'm a little concerned at the way they're fitting right now on the outside of my feet.
So since that satin is so thick, almost everybody does do a crisscross.
Oh my gosh, to like hold it in?
It's never, it's one of those trade-offs, right? It lasts 3 to 6 times longer.
Yeah.
It's because of the plastic box and shank and this super thick satin. It's not the 2 thin pieces like sewn together. These are like bonded together. So you're never gonna get that sleek look, and it does have like a little bag when you roll through. Okay. Can't get rid of it. Okay. They last forever.
Yeah. Okay. Got it.
Size feels okay?
The size feels okay here.
Okay, step up whenever you're ready.
Oh wow. Oh wow, they feel so different.
Yeah.
Yeah, but these feel really, really comfortable.
So if you can get, there you go, a proper dimmy. Go ahead and roll up.
Oh my god.
Then it is the correct shank strings for you.
Yeah.
If we had gone too hard, you wouldn't have been able to get that dimmy, and then you would kind of cheat and just like pop up and down. There you go.
Wow.
Cool. And then switch.
The fitter put this, I don't know what to call it, than just a really thick rubber band on my foot and helped me to hold onto the back of the heels so that I can get an idea of what it would feel like to roll up on pointe in the Gaynors. And the Gaynors just felt so good. The shank stiffness was just perfect for me. And after that, I was pretty much sold.
This is really good. I think I have to go with the Gaynors. These feel really good.
And this is your second favorite?
Yeah. I think right now, I think I can just do more with these. I'm happy that I got the right shoe. Thank you for coming with me.
I did find my old Gaynors from years and years ago. If I had to guess how old these Gaynors are, I would guess somewhere between 5 to 7 years old. So these are the new Gaynors. These are the old Gaynors. They are quite different. Even though they look the same, they're really, really different. And I remember these did not fit me at all, but I really, really wanted them to fit me. So I usually wear pointe shoes up until they die, and if I don't wear them up until they die, the main reason was they started causing me pain or I injured myself in that shoe, so I didn't want to put my feet back in them after that. And maybe this was a shoe that I injured myself in. I can't really recall anymore, unfortunately, but you can tell that they are worn. So let's try these on. Oh my gosh. Okay. Oh, so uncomfortable. Okay, so let me start off with, these shoes definitely don't fit. They're like slipping off my heel at this point, and they were just so hard to put on. Okay, I'm just gonna step. Oh! I mean, look at my feet in these shoes. They look great. Yeah, I mean, they're a little soft, but ooh, it's so hard to roll through these shoes. They're so tight. I can totally see my metatarsal just popping out of the shoe right here. But I guess Gaynors have always made my feet look really great at some point. The satin is just so thick. Like, sewing the shoe was honestly such a nightmare, and you can tell that I'm using floss in the shoe because using normal thread was just not working. So I decided to use dental floss, and you can tell that the fabric is really stiff and it doesn't fit my feet very well because it's kind of popping out. So I decided to not use any ribbons because the elastic is doing a pretty great job at keeping my foot in the shoe for now. So just crisscross elastics. I hope you can tell that these look much better on my feet than my Russian points looked. And of course the downside is the heel. So there's a lot of fabric and it's baggy and it doesn't look nice and sleek. But this is pretty comfortable, demi-point, and point is also pretty comfortable. I feel very, very, very sported in these shoes, but I guess we'll see when I use them out in class. Back in the days, you either loved Gaynors or you hated Gaynors. And if you hated Gaynors, your argument usually is something along the lines of, it's too easy, you know, you're not really working your feet because you don't really have to point them. They point your feet for you because you see how rounded they are? So it just kind of looks like your feet is pointed all the time. Let me pull the ribbon back. So you can tell that my Russians are a little flatter than my Gaynor. My teacher always was suspicious whether or not I was actually pointing my feet, but I remember she really, really hated these. She thought they were such cheater shoes. I mean, I liked them. I guess I liked them enough at least to wear them until the tip was worn out. This is not really an apples to apples comparison, but I thought it would be cool to kind of look at new versus old Gaynors. These are the really old ones, and these are of course the new ones. And the old ones, they were so bendy, look at that. And with the new ones, I don't think they're as bendy, but oh my goodness. But you can tell that back in the days, the drawstring around the shoe used to be, in my opinion, a lot better. And the back still looks the same, I guess, but you can tell that the tips are a little bit different now than what they used to be. So I hope you have enjoyed watching me blab about pointe shoes for a little bit. I am, of course, in no way an expert in pointe shoes. I do not fit them professionally. I just know what works for my feet, and I can just share with you what I've gone through. So keep that in mind, that this is really not professional opinion. It's just Twan's opinion. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys all in the next video. Bye everyone.